We're at Newcastle Ocean Baths. This part of the Geotrail tells the story of the river systems and the floodplains and the swamps that once covered this landscape. But it's also a great place to look at the vegetation that once covered this land as well. 255 million years ago, this area was covered by vast forests that we know as the Gondwanan Forests. These forests had a really unique flora that's now extinct, and we only find evidence of that flora in places like Australia, Antarctica, India, South America and South Africa. The dominant species of the Gondwana Forest was a tree or a large shrub called Glossopteris. It grew to around 30 metres height, and it only really grew in really wet soil. And so that's really good evidence for the floodplain and the swamp environments that we had through the Newcastle coal measures at that time. And if we look around the rock platform here at the Ocean Baths, we can see fossilised logs of a species called Dadioxylon, and in some places we can find the fossilised leaves of Glossopteris and other species like Phylotheca. What makes this place really special is it's really accessible place to find those fossil remains of those Gondwanan forests. And we can see them all up and down the coast, from right up near Nobby's right down to Swansea. If you walk along the Newcastle Geotrail, you'll be able to find leaf fossils, plant fossils, and also fossilised trees and fossilised logs. Now, in some cases, those forests were flattened by those vast volcanic eruptions that laid ash down onto the landscape. In other places, such as here, those trees were smashed by big floods and carried along in river systems. And you can see that evidence here on the rock platform. The Gondwanan Forests of this time, of 255 million years ago, predate the dinosaurs by over 100 million years. So these forests were around long before dinosaurs evolved. In certain places through the Newcastle area, we also find fossilized insects, and these insects were eating the leaves of these Gondwanan forests. And in places we've found leaves of Glossopteris with bite marks in them, where the insects have been munching away. Around 8,000 years ago, we saw sea level increase and these rock platforms start to develop. That was a time when Nobby's was an island. Since around 6,000 years ago, sea level's been pretty stable. But the rock platforms have continued to develop as we have a retreat of the cliffs. Here at Newcastle South, we have joints in those cliffs where the rocks fall down with time as the constant barrage they receive from the wind, from the salt, and also from the waves weakens the rocks and causes them to collapse. As those cliff lines retreat, we get more and more rock platform. The rock platform here is particularly important for roosting birds. The ruddy turnstone has been documented to spend time here on its migration from King Island between Victoria and Tasmania on its way to Siberia to breed. And on its return journey, those ruddy turnstones spend 4 to 6 weeks here, fattening themselves up, foraging on the food that the rock platforms provide. The rock platforms provide a great habitat for all sorts of creatures, from crabs to fish to those seabirds. And it's fantastic when you snorkel here to know that the geology continues out under the ocean, and we can see the same features we're standing on here underwater, providing that habitat for aquatic life.